Hey YouTube, Stampede DXL. Quick review, not quick, but review vid on the Stampede, what it needs and what I have on it, and just a complete review vid. Very quickly, it has RPM arms, RPM bumper, RPM bearing carrier, servo sealed ball bearings, RPM caster box, RPM turnbuckles, all the way around, RPM front shock tower. Brand new stock body posts, waterproof ESC and waterproof receiver mounting plate, stock chassis, RPM bearing carriers, rubber sealed ball bearings, all steel transmission, RPM turnbuckles, RPM your shock tower, RPM your body posts, and all stainless steel hex hardware all throughout the whole car. Durability. So first we're gonna start the review on it. Durability. This car is very durable. The first part I broke when I got this was 3 weeks after I first opened it up in the box, and it was the spur gear. I mean, it happens. I was jumping it like a lot, and the power that the Titan 12-turn 550 motor puts out, it's a lot. And then the next part I put on it, that I broke on it, was the bearing carriers upgraded to RPM, like $9. The spur gear was $3. You can get an aluminum one for $20 though. And then durability on it, it's very good. I mean, you're gonna break something on it, but if you're just gonna be driving around, not jumping it, and you think you won't crash it, then I mean, you're never gonna break a part. The one part you might break is like the spur gear, which is $3, which I mean, I think anyone who is willing to buy one of these can dish out. Yeah, this car is like very durable. I mean, if you're jumping it off of a ramp or if you're crashing it a lot, you're obviously gonna break it. But in that order that I was telling you about, that was what I broke in order for what I was doing, and I was jumping really hard. I was crashing. I was hitting a curb straight on, and the front shock tower breaks a lot, but if you put the bumper, you're not going to have a problem with the stock front shock tower, but I would still just put it. Speed, with a 6L 3000 milliamp 7.2 volt and an IMH battery, you're going to see speeds of around 25 miles an hour, and that's on concrete. On grass, maybe around 20, just because it's taller, it's going to slow the car down a little bit more. Grass will make the motor run a little bit hotter just because it's taller and it puts more strain on the motor and ESC. If you run on cement, that's the coolest way to keep the motor. You can buy a fan for the motor and a heat sink from like something like the toys.com, like $11. I wouldn't though, because no air can pass for the heat to take it away. The ESC already has a heat sink. Electronics. I broke the servo, one part on the servo after 6 months of having the car. I jumped it off the roof like 6 times. On the 7th time, it just cracked. Understandable. You can send it into Traxxas, give them $10 for labor, $5 for shipping. They'll fix it up for you. Receiver, perfect. Never had a problem with it. XF speed control. It is waterproof. It's a nice speed control, but if I have, in the 1 year period that I have owned this, I probably sent it into Traxxas at least 6 times, and all 6 times they've sent me back a brand new one. So if you don't mind having your stuff in the shop for that long, I mean, I guess it's okay, but if you don't like it, if you want to run your car when you have the time and time is an issue, maybe you can upgrade to like a Tekken brushed motor in ESC, or a Mamba brushless, or even a Volinion. I heard the Volinions are pretty good too. The motor, in a 1 year period, I've had like problems with it 3 times. I mean, understandable. I didn't break it in properly when I first got it. It said not to drive it on grass the first run. I did. It said not to put it in reverse on the first run. I did. Pretty good motor. It's very strong. it'll move this car 30 miles an hour. Very nice. So yeah, what it needs. If you just got one and you're wondering, okay, I want to put the best on it so far, but I don't want to put all of it at once. The one thing that I would do to it is with the wide front bumper from RPM on, followed by the bearing carriers, and then the shock tower, and then after that you can just decide on what you want to put on it. I would put all RPM though, and the reason you want RPM is because it's lighter than the stock plastic, and obviously lighter than aluminum, but it's much stronger than the stock plastic, and aluminum bends. It doesn't break, it bends. And aluminum, like for example, these arms, these are the RPM ones, are $10. They weigh less than the stock arms, and they come with a lifetime warranty, which means if you break it, RPM will replace it free of charge. But with the aluminum ones, you can always break them. Well, not break them, but you will bend them eventually. And too much aluminum, it's just too much weight. It's going to slow down your car. It does look kind of cool, but you have to decide, do you want to have the aesthetics or do you want the function? I chose function. If I could do this all over again, I wouldn't choose the Stampede XL5. I would choose the Stampede VXL, just because the XL5 is brushed, which means you're going to have to buy some stuff to maintain the motor, like grease and oil to put on the bushings, and an electric motor cleaner to like filter out all the dirt. But with brushless, it uses ball bearings, high quality ball bearings, and you won't have to, and it's virtually maintenance free, and yeah, it's very good. So I mean, it's $100 difference between the XL5 and the VXL, but the actual system is $150 from the toys.com. So if you wanted to upgrade it later, it would be more expensive than just doing it all at once. My Rustler. Now, if you're thinking if it's like if this stuff is gonna be a little too expensive for you, and you don't want to spend all this money on stuff that you're not really gonna use or upgrade later on, I am building a Rustler out of all the stock parts that I had left over from the Stampede. Just all stock parts. All of it is working. Most of it I didn't even use. I just upgraded as soon as I got my Stampede. It can become a Rustler, it can become a Bandit, it can become a Stampede, anything you want. Just leave a comment down there. And I mean, if you want to see this on eBay, just tell me if you want, like, what you want on it. I can upgrade all the parts for you, so then when you have it, you don't have to do anything. It's all good, and I can put any chassis you want on it: Stampede, Rustler, Bandit. And the electronics that are going to come with it are XL5 ESC with the Titan 12-turn motor, 550 size, and the waterproof receiver box. The ESC is also waterproof, and 3000 milliamp Team Orion 7.2 volt NREMH battery. You're gonna see round times on that for around 20 minutes. If you're kind of concerned, like not pushing it too hard. If you're really pushing it hard, maybe around 10 minutes, and that's if you're driving on grass at like full speed, 24/7. And you're also gonna get this controller, very nice, very comfortable. It does work. And to prove it to you, transmitter on, battery hooked up to the ESC, turn the ESC on, and then very nice. Alright, so please comment. I do like it when I see comments. It means that people trust me and they want to hear what I have to say. If you want to take this on eBay, just say so. Alright. Happy holidays. Bye.